Hi, welcome to Crime Clueless. We're your hosts. I'm Jenna.
And I'm Lara.
And I'm Kayla.
Today we are missing Krista. We always are sad when we're missing one.
Yeah.
Summer's hard.
Summer is hard.
She's having fun though.
Yeah, she is.
I thought summer would be easier. Oh, but it is not proven to be. But that's okay. Read any good books lately, guys? Any recommendations?
We talked about this one that I read on the Alibis, but it was called The Perfect Marriage. That one was interesting. It's a good true crime one. Or not true crime. It's a good crime thriller is what I meant to say.
Yeah. Have you started The Perfect Divorce yet?
No, I'm reading two other ones right now.
Are they good?
Yeah, the one is called Echoes of Hollow and Ember. It's good so far. It's a fantasy book. And then the other one I've been reading. It's called Apples Never Fall. It's also a murder mystery.
Ooh.
I kind of put that one on pause while I'm reading the other one.
I was going to say, I can't read two books at once.
I can't either.
Unless I'm really putting it on pause.
Yeah.
Can't go back and forth.
But I get like hyper focused. I have
Yeah,
one
me
book
too.
and I read it in 2 days and then I'm sad because I have nothing else to do.
Yeah, right.
So I ran out of Audible credits.
Oh,
That's a
I have
problem.
to wait till next week to get my next book.
shoot. You need to try that Scribd, or now it's called Everand.
Yes.
You can
I gotta
get-
find.
There's
I'll find
something my
something.
friends use called
Yeah.
Libby, but you need a library card, and I've been too lazy to go to the library.
I tried Libby actually and they didn't have my books on there.
Oh,
Well, they had the one that I was reading, but they don't have the next one.
Mm.
Because we do have a library card, but
And you guys use that other one, right? That like works with our library cards, except they stopped with my city, unfortunately.
of course.
I know. I was so sad because they had books on tape. They had movies you could rent.
oh, that's nice. I
Yeah.
don't think we use that one.
I know Brooks has talked about it, but
Brooks is gatekeeping.
oh
They
no.
must be.
I can't think of what it's called. It will come to me.
We'll have to figure it out. But I've
Yeah.
been reading the Lincoln Lawyer books by Michael Connolly.
And you're liking those?
Yes.
Yeah.
They're like about murder trials. So it's kind of fun. But
Yeah.
Did you
I like
start
all
reading
the
the
true
books
crime.
first and then the series, or did you watch the series and then start reading the books?
I watched the series and then I read the books.
Okay.
And I really have liked them. And I like the series too.
Nice.
They did a really good job with the series. It's close to the book.
I like when they're true to
Mhm.
what they're basing it off of.
Yeah, they're really, really good that way. There's some things that are different, obviously. Like some characters are different, or they like combine two characters to one or whatever for the series. But
Mhm.
they're really good. They did a really good job. And the books have been really good too. So I'm excited for my next book next week.
Nice. I like it.
Michael Connolly has tons of books. So
He does. Yeah.
he's got a whole series. I think there's like 20
I
in
love
this series.
a long series.
And it's about that characters in the books I've been reading now. So they kind of cross over a little bit. And I know that the main character of the Lincoln Lawyer books is also in the other series too. Like they kind of cross over that way as well. So
Mm.
That's always fun.
I might have to up my Audible credits so I can read more books.
Yeah. Or we got to find you some other.
I want those to be like
Services.
on Kindle Unlimited or something, but
Mm.
they're not.
That's always my favorite when I go to download it and it says it's free.
Oh, that
makes my day.
Best.
I was kind of hoping like Prime Days. I'm like, why don't we have a sale on Audible credits? Or why aren't my books on? They were on sale for like the paperback, but not the
Mm.
Audible.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And I can sit and listen to
Annoying,
books
but
way better than I can sit and read because I'll listen to books while I cook or do laundry or chores or
Right,
drive kids places.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
can't read while I drive. That would be dangerous.
yeah, I wouldn't recommend that.
No, me either.
I might be in the next murder mystery.
No, we're never covering you on this, on
No,
this podcast.
that one would be she was reading and crashed her car. So
Oh,
not good choices.
No.
no.
But
But
I can listen to books.
Yeah.
I do Audible a lot. But
yeah, I like listening.
Me too.
Then I can get other stuff done.
It's just
Yeah.
a problem because if I'm at work and it's like an intense part of my book and then I have like a meeting, I'm like, no.
Why are you interrupting?
I know.
Yep.
I'm trying to listen to my book.
Yes. Yeah.
So I try not to listen to books at work because I get distracted.
Yeah.
Your boss probably appreciates that.
I know.
They don't listen, do they?
Fine.
Okay, good. Oh, I have a crazy case for you today, and it's one that is pretty well known in the true crime world, and it's making waves this summer. So we need to talk about it so we can follow it.
All right.
I'm excited about that.
It's, of course, sad and horrible. It is interesting.
Well, that's kind of how this goes.
Mhm.
Kind of how they all are.
Yeah.
Sad, but interesting.
Yeah.
I'm working on this other case, and we had said in one of our recent ones, where they always say, like, she lit up a room, and they have this one person that it happens to. No one had good things to say about him.
Oh,
And I've never really found that before, which is,
that's unfortunate.
So you're saying we're not safe if we're not happy-go-lucky people?
Have you seen that
guess
meme?
not.
Every time I see a missing person, they always talk about how she was always so nice and lit up a room, which is why I'm mean and dark or something like that.
Yep. That totally checks out. But we are talking about somebody who was amazing today, which just, it's so sad.
Yeah.
All right. It's a cold January evening in Philadelphia, and we're in the year 2011. 27-year-old Ellen Greenberg, who was a beloved first grade teacher, is home early because a blizzard shut down the school that day. Her fiance, Sam, steps out to the gym around 4:45 p.m. and returns about 45 minutes later. But something is wrong. The apartment door is locked from the inside with a swing bar latch, so like the one in a hotel room. And Ellen isn't answering his calls or texts. Sam grows frantic after sending a series of unanswered messages like, hello, open the door, and you better have an excuse. He eventually forces the door open around 6:30 p.m. and is met with a scene of horror. Ellen is on the kitchen floor in a pool of blood, a large knife plunged into her chest.
Oh, sad.
Yeah. In shock, Sam calls 911. The 911 call is chilling. We hear Sam's voice, panicked and breathless. Help, I need an ambulance immediately. I just came home. My fiance is on the floor, covered in blood, he tells the dispatcher. Initially, he reports that maybe she slipped and fell. He's instructed to begin CPR. As he moves closer, he suddenly realizes the gruesome detail. Oh my God, she stabbed herself. The knife sticking out. There's a knife sticking out of her heart, Sam exclaims. The 911 operator is incredulous. She stabbed herself? Sam replies with a little hesitation, I guess so, or she fell on it. The dispatcher, hearing that a knife is in Ellen's chest, urges him, don't touch it, don't touch anything. Paramedics rush to the scene through the snow, but it's too late. Ellen is pronounced dead at 6:40 p.m. This is the beginning of a baffling and heartbreaking case, one that 14 years later remains now technically unsolved and hotly debated. Ellen was found with 20 stab wounds all over her body.
Wow.
10 of them to her neck and head, plus numerous bruises in various stages of healing. Yet, shockingly, her death was ruled a suicide.
What?
Not a homicide.
Ow.
Exactly. In this episode, we're going to answer that question, maybe. We'll walk through what happened that day, the confusing investigation that followed, the autopsy findings, and the tireless fight that Ellen's parents have waged over the last 14 years to challenge this suicide ruling. This story really has everything: a locked door mystery, forensic twists, investigative fails, allegedly, and a family's quest for justice. It's a case that will make you question the conclusions and wonder how 20 stab wounds could ever be self-inflicted. Today, we're diving deep into the case of Ellen Greenberg. It's a story with more questions than answers. So let's start at the beginning. Who was Ellen and what led up to that terrible night? Ellen Ray Greenberg was born in 1983 to Joshua and Sandy Greenberg, and she grew up in Pennsylvania. By January 2011, 27-year-old Ellen was living in a suburb of Philadelphia and working as a first-grade teacher at Juanita Park Academy. Friends and family describe her as upbeat, caring, and responsible. She had earned her teaching credentials and loved working with children. She was also recently engaged. She and her fiancé, Samuel, who goes by Sam Goldberg, planned to marry in August 2011. They
Goldberg and Greenberg?
Mm-hmm.
I like that.
Yeah, Goldberg and Greenberg. That hadn't hit, because I don't really put in his last name through this, just Sam.
Uh-huh.
But yes, Greenberg and Goldberg.
Nice.
Yeah. They shared an apartment at the Venice Lofts in Philadelphia and had just taken a vacation together over the winter holiday to St. Kitts with Ellen's parents. By all accounts, Ellen and Sam seemed happy. Her mom said they seemed in sync as far as I could tell. It was a lovely time. However, beneath the surface, Ellen had been dealing with some anxiety. In the months before her death, she had sought help for anxiety and was prescribed medication, Klonopin for anxiety and Ambien for sleep. Importantly, though, her psychiatrist noted that Ellen was not suicidal and that she had never expressed any thoughts of self-harm. In fact, her parents and doctors said Ellen was feeling better with treatment. She was adjusting to the stress at work and looking forward to her wedding. Sandy, her mom, later emphasized there was never any reason to suspect suicide in any way, shape, or form. And Josh, her dad, added that while Ellen could be anxious, she was still happy. They also, and this is interesting, describe Ellen as a bit squeamish about pain. Josh noted how Ellen once backed out of getting her ears pierced because she disliked pain. For her family, the idea that Ellen would or even could stab herself repeatedly is out of the question. And that makes what happened on January 26th all the more perplexing.
Yeah, that just doesn't make sense to me.
No, you hear the 20 stab wounds and it's like...
Especially to neck and head.
Yes. I was thinking that too.
That's not...
No.
And I feel like if you're wanting to complete suicide, that's not what you do.
No.
Unless, I mean, I know some people have like self-harm tendencies or things like that, but it doesn't sound like that's what she had.
No.
It just doesn't make sense to me.
Agreed.
Math isn't mathing.
Yes.
Exactly.
One of my favorite phrases. So January 26, 2011 was a Wednesday. It was an ordinary workday that turned extraordinary due to weather. A heavy blizzard hit Philadelphia that early afternoon, late morning, blanketing the city in snow. As a result, the school where Ellen taught decided to dismiss early. Ellen called her mom that morning around 7 a.m. as both women headed to work, and nothing seemed amiss. By 1:30 p.m., with the snow coming down hard, Ellen left the school to drive home. She stopped on her way to fill up her gas tank. It appears Ellen planned to bunker down safely at home during the storm, topping off her gas, going back to her cozy apartment. Once home in her 6th-floor apartment, Ellen settled in. We know from evidence later she began making a fruit salad in the kitchen. A bowl of cut fruit and an orange sliced in half were later found on the counter. This small detail is haunting in hindsight. This half-finished either snack or part of dinner, suggesting Ellen was casually preparing food, unaware of any danger. Her father would later point out, why was a half-finished fruit salad found on the counter above her body? If she was intent on taking her life, why had she chosen to start fixing herself a snack?
No. That doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense at all. It's like, what?
Right.
I just can't.
It's one of the many, many puzzling details that do not line up with a suicide scenario. Sometime that afternoon, Sam, Ellen's 28-year-old fiance, was also home in the building. According to Sam's account to police, around 4:45 p.m., he left the apartment to go to the building's gym for a workout. Surveillance footage later confirmed Sam taking the elevator to the gym at 4:45.
Is the gym? You said the gym is at their apartment?
Yep. Ellen stayed behind in the apartment. For the next 45 minutes, presumably, Ellen was alone inside. We don't know exactly what transpired during that time, which will forever be the mystery at the heart of this case. Around 5:30 p.m., Sam returned from the gym to the apartment door. That's when he discovered he couldn't get in. The swing bar latch, which was a U-shaped security latch, often seen, like we mentioned, in hotel rooms, was engaged from the inside. Sam knocked and called out to Ellen and got no response. Concern turned to frustration. I'm assuming, he's like, what is going on? I'm knocking, I'm calling, I know she's here.
And he was only gone for like 45 minutes, you said?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
He began texting and calling Ellen repeatedly between 5:30 and 6:30. According to phone records, he sent at least 9 text messages as he stood outside the door. So at 5:32, he sent hello. At 5:34, he sent open the door. At 5:37, he said, what are you doing? At 5:38, he said, I'm getting pissed.
No.
At 5:39, he texted hello. At 5:40, you better have an excuse. At 5:41, hello. At 5:42, open the door. At 5:44, he said, what the F? These texts, later revealed in the investigation, show Sam's growing worry and irritation. For about 45 minutes, he knocked, shouted, and even tried calling Ellen and family members, saying he couldn't get in. Neighbors later say they did not hear any commotion or screaming during this time. Getting nowhere, Sam sought help. He claims he went downstairs to the lobby and talked to the apartment building security guard, asking for assistance. By 6:30 p.m., so an hour later, desperate, Sam says he forced the door open by heaving his weight against it, eventually breaking the latch free. Notably, later scrutiny would question how fully the latch was actually broken, and we'll come back to that. Sam entered the unit and made the discovery Ellen was collapsed on the kitchen floor just inside. The scene was every fiance's worst nightmare. Ellen was lying on her back against the kitchen cabinets, unresponsive and covered in blood. A 10-inch serrated kitchen knife was lodged about 4 inches into her chest, directly into her heart. Sam later described finding her on the floor, bloody and unresponsive. He immediately dialed 911 at 6:33 p.m. So let's revisit that 911 call because it gives us a glimpse into the moment of discovery. The audio transcript is out there. You can listen to it, but I'll read it to you. Sam calls and says, I just came home and my fiance's on the floor covered in blood. She's not responding. I think she hit her head or I don't know. There's blood everywhere. The 911 operator says, is she breathing? What happened to her? Sam says, she may have slipped. There's blood on the table. Her face is a little purple. Sam is unclear, a little hard to hear right here. Possibly, he's in shock. The 911 operator says, you need to start CPR. Is there anything lodged in her, any injuries? At this point, Sam moves closer to do CPR as instructed. Then you hear Sam panicking. Oh my God, Ellie, please. Oh my God, she stabbed herself. The 911 operator, what? She stabbed herself? Where? Sam says, the knife sticking out. There's a knife sticking out of her heart. The 911 operator says, she stabbed herself? He says, I guess so, or she fell on it. The operator says, okay, with a knife in her chest, it's going to be kind of hard for you to do CPR. Don't touch it. Don't touch anything. Check to see if she's showing any signs of life. Sam says, her hands are still warm. I don't know what that means, but there's blood everywhere. I'm not touching anything. I can't believe this, though. We're the only ones here. The 911 operator says, we're the only ones here? Is the door locked? Any sign of a break-in? He says, no sign of a break-in. The door was latched from the inside. I had to break the latch to get in. So that's not the full call, and you can listen to it. They do talk about him having a hard time. She had like a zipped hoodie on with a t-shirt underneath, and he was having a hard time like unzipping it and then found the knife, which is kind of interesting. She also had on sweatpants and Ugg boots.
Wait, so the knife was inside the jacket?
It sounds like it. Like he didn't initially see it until he got really close. Yeah.
So like she had been stabbed and then they zipped up her jacket over top of it? That's what it sounds like?
I can't really tell, but he was trying to get CPR going and said, I can't get it. It's zipped. I'm trying to get it unzipped. And then noticed the knife. So I don't know if he was in shock and...
Interesting.
Or, I mean, he did say she stabbed herself when he walked in.
Yeah.
So maybe he just didn't realize which knife it was. It was a Cutco knife set.
Mm-hmm.
And I know the handles are all really similar.
Mhm.
And so maybe he thought it was a smaller one or not exactly in that place
Mm.
so that he could still do CPR. I'm not sure.
Question.
Hmm.
So you mentioned that there were security cameras of him going to the gym.
hmm
Is there anything like right outside their front door, or is it mostly just like the elevators?
Right. Mostly just the common areas.
Okay.
And so maybe that even means just in front of the gym.
So they can't see anything like
In their hallway?
him in the hallway.
We don't
Before.
have any reporting on that.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So if someone did come in and then latch it and then escaped out the window, there wouldn't be any video.
hmm
You said they are on the 6th floor, right?
Right. And
Well, if
is
there's like
there
a
a-
fire escape,
There.
the thing is, the window, I want to say it's a sliding glass door that goes out to a little balcony. And I've seen reports that like the snow was undisturbed
Hmm.
outside of that.
Was there a fire escape though?
Yeah.
Okay. So they could have
So
gone
they-
out that way.
Could have and maybe move the snow behind him.
or
But he wasn't trying to
if-
get in that way. It's probably
Right.
dangerous,
but
slippery.
there was also a
snow.
storm going on.
Right.
And if it was
So
snowing
they
heavily-
didn't notice for an hour. Right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
We've seen that too.
Oh, and you said he was gone for 45 minutes and then took another hour. So
Right.
it was like 2 hours. If this had happened pretty close to when he left, like right after he left,
hmm
that would have been almost 2 hours of snow falling on that area.
That's very
So,
true.
and whenever they decided to look out there,
Mhm.
it could have been another 30, 45 minutes after, even longer.
Right.
Yeah. Probably at least an hour and a half.
Yeah. It could have definitely been covered up. You said it was snowing pretty heavily.
And I'm curious also if she latched it behind him or if it was open. I've listened to some reporting on this where people have tried to lock it or unlock it from the outside, like in hotel rooms, and they've been able to do it with dental floss.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, I don't like that.
no, I don't like that either. That's why you need like the wedge that goes under your hotel door that has an alarm if it's like
Yep.
pushed or moved. Yeah.
Hmm.
So
So
buy
they're saying they
of
could
those.
have locked it behind them.
that is what internet sleuths have found.
Okay.
So I have like my regular deadbolt and then I have like a security deadbolt. And I always lock both when I'm home alone. Like even if
Mhm. Good.
I know someone's coming over or something like that, like I always just keep both locked.
It's a good
So,
habit to have.
yeah.
And, he couldn't technically lock that when he left.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So, I'm
she might have
curious
locked
if
it
she locked
after
it
him.
behind him, like if that was the norm,
Right. I mean, if she's going to be
or if
just
she didn't
cooking and
notice.
he out the
and
kitchen, then
yeah,
it's easy for her to just
open the
walk
door
over
when
and
he
unlock
comes
it. Yeah.
back. Or if she wasn't really thinking about that, it's snowing. We always hear nobody locked their doors until X, Y, and Z happened.
Yeah.
So that could have been open. Maybe he didn't lock it behind him. Maybe she didn't.
Seems like I would, like if I knew he was just going to the gym and then coming right back,
Mm-hmm.
I'd probably lock it. But I don't know if I would do
The full.
the full thing if he was only going to be gone for 45 minutes.
Right.
I don't know.
So that's one of my questions.
Yeah.
Yeah. Going back to the call, when you listen to it, you can hear Sam sounding shocked and horrified at what he walks into. And you hear the dispatcher's surprise when she says she stabbed herself. And I think it echoes what many would feel. How could Ellen have done this to herself? Sam's own words are confused. I guess so, or she fell on it. He seemingly cannot fathom it either, yet he offers no alternative explanation in that moment. Within minutes, at around 6:40, paramedics and police arrived at the scene. They found what one could only describe as a locked room horror mystery. Ellen, unfortunately, was beyond help. The medical responders confirmed she had no pulse and showed signs of having succumbed to her injuries. The question immediately confronting police was, what happened here? Was this a murder, an intruder who somehow vanished from a locked 6th floor apartment in the middle of a snowstorm? Or could it possibly be what Sam's 911 call suggested, a suicide by stabbing? Homicide detectives and crime scene investigators from the Philadelphia Police Department began examining the scene that night. Certain aspects initially pointed towards self-harm rather than an attack, at least in the eyes of first responders. They found no sign of forced entry. Apart from the door Sam himself broke open, there was no evidence of an intruder. The apartment was on the 6th floor, accessible only by the locked door or that outdoor balcony. And like we said, it was covered in fresh and what they determined was untouched snow. They didn't see footprints or any disturbance. The chain latch had been in use, suggesting Ellen was alone inside and had latched it herself, though we'll get more into that later. They didn't find defensive wounds. Ellen's body didn't immediately show obvious defensive injuries on her hands or arms, which you'd expect if she was fighting off an attacker. This was a crucial point. Her stab wounds were numerous and brutal, yet if she hadn't tried to fend off a knife, could it mean there was no assailant? Or maybe she was incapacitated early in the attack. Investigators considered this as well. Ellen's parents and her psychiatrist vouched for her. Arriving officers, as standard procedure, considered the fiancé Sam and reached out to the family. That night, Josh and Sandy told police they had no reason to suspect Sam would harm Ellen. Ellen's psychiatrist also informed police that Ellen was happy with Sam and had denied any abuse in the relationship. In fact, the Greenbergs described Sam as a fine young man and stood by him. It should be noted that Sam has never been charged with any crime in relation to Ellen's death and has always maintained his innocence throughout. On the other hand, many aspects of the scene were deeply troubling and pointed away from a typical suicide. For one, the sheer number of wounds. Ellen had been stabbed 20 times, which it might even be more. And this fact would only come out at the autopsy, but even at the scene, they observed numerous punctures and the knife in her chest. It's extraordinarily rare, almost unheard of, for a suicide to involve that many stab wounds, especially to one's own back.
Oh, they were on her back too?
Mm-hmm.
How do you even do that?
There's no way. No.
Can you imagine being her parents and hearing suicide?
No.
No.
That's
No.
crap.
Yep. Agreed.
Well, and I was thinking that too, like if they were all to her front, if someone came up behind her and was stabbing her that way,
Mm-hmm.
maybe that's why she didn't have defensive wounds if they grabbed her from behind. But
What, did she tape the knife to the wall and walk into it? Like, no. That's
I don't know how you would
ridiculous.
even, I mean, maybe to your lower back. I guess it depends on where they were, but why?
It's higher up.
That would be so hard. I don't know how you would
Yes.
even do that to yourself.
It seems impossible.
Yeah.
Officers on scene that night did not immediately count all of the stab wounds, but they could see the injuries to her chest and some in her neck, and the brutality of the injuries gave many first responders pause. Later, the autopsy would detail 10 wounds to the back of Ellen's neck and head. Even without the exact number, investigators at the scene noticed injuries in areas hard to reach by one's own hand.
shocking.
Mm-hmm. How could someone stab themselves repeatedly in the back of the neck?
No.
No. Ellen was found to have 11 bruises on her right arm, abdomen, and right leg, all in different stages of healing. This suggested she might have sustained injuries over time, possibly from prior incidents. You know, stubbing your toe, hitting your knee on a table. I mean,
I am covered in bruises right now.
I know, me too. And I don't have a good reason. I didn't go to boxing today.
Actually, mine are from dogs
See, that's mine are mostly from that too.
jumping on me with the scratch marks. My legs looked bad last week.
Sorry about that.
Was not just yours, it was also mine.
Okay, that's better.
I'm like, I have some pretty good bruises right now from falling down the stairs on my own. So, you know,
Yeah. Very sorry that happened.
thank you.
Yeah.
It's better now. But you can get
Bruises from a lot of
a
things.
lot.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You open the door into
Is
yourself.
that maybe why they thought maybe Sam
Yes.
thinking domestic, and then they
Yes.
made sure to disprove that. Okay.
Raised a red flag saying, prior abuse or altercations. Personally, I could see that from other things, but
I mean, if she does have bruising on her, then it's good that, they double checked that. But
yeah.
That's interesting though.
Yeah.
What were they from?
I don't know.
And where were they? Just like all over her body or?
Her right arm, her right leg, and her stomach.
Did she fall?
Maybe.
If it's just her right side.
Yeah.
She might have fallen over something.
Yeah. Could have. Slipped on ice. I mean,
Yeah.
this winter, Philadelphia.
Yeah.
I had a bruise on my stomach the other day because I accidentally snapped a hanger into it.
Oh, no.
It really hurt.
Yeah.
But I mean,
Just saying bruises could be from a lot of things.
Yeah, exactly. But they did mention that in the autopsy. Investigators documented curious details in the apartment. We talked about the bowl of fresh cut fruit on the kitchen counter. If Ellen, was preparing a snack or dinner. Also, photos later showed Ellen's makeup bag and toiletries laid out on the bathroom counter, which her parents said was unusual for her. She typically kept those items stored unless she was packing to leave. And her dad said it was as if she was getting ready to leave, but really no explanation for that.
Interesting.
These small clues suggested Ellen had normal intentions, though, cooking, possibly planning to go somewhere, not the mindset of someone about to end her life. Given the ambiguity, the police that night treated the death as suspicious. They did not immediately declare it a homicide, but they didn't rule out suicide either. The crime scene unit took photographs and collected what evidence they could. Notably, though, initial responders did not find a suicide note, which is really not even half the time for suicides, but also maybe suicides aren't always suicide. I don't know. Anyways, that's a different topic. And they didn't find any written indication from Ellen explaining anything that happened. The Philadelphia Medical Examiner's Office was called to the scene. Assistant Medical Examiner Dr. Osborne would handle the autopsy. That night, January 26th, based on the on-site observations, the prevailing theory among police, they were already leaning towards suicide. Astonishing, as it seems.
That's so crazy.
Did they bag the knife to check for fingerprints and things like that?
That would have been great.
No.
Yep. Never tested.
Oh, geez.
The murder weapon was never tested.
They just assumed they'd only find her fingerprints.
Oh.
You know what happens when you assume?
Yeah. So, even though they collected some stuff, it is
not the weapon that killed her.
Horrifying that wasn't just tested just to see.
Just to check.
Like, you haven't got the autopsy back yet. You haven't done, CCTV. Look at that. Dust the whole apartment for fingerprints. I don't know.
Yeah.
Test her for external DNA. Something.
Standard.
Well, and this wasn't
procedure?
even that long ago.
No, it wasn't. Doesn't that make you rage?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Laura and I are fuming.
Me too. One police source told the media a few days later that aside from the wounds, the circumstances like the locked door, no evidence of someone else coming in, had them leaning towards a determination of suicide.
So I'm sorry, besides the wounds, besides the things that killed her.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
And all the circumstantial things like the fruit salad, Yeah. Homicide investigators were involved, but the case straddled a really strange line. The very next day, on January 27th, Dr. Osborne performed a full autopsy on Ellen's body. What he found only deepened the mystery. You guys are going to hate this. Okay. Ellen had indeed 20 stab wounds. These included 10 to the back of her neck and head, 8 to her chest, including the one that penetrated her heart, 1 to her abdomen, and 1 to her scalp. Some wounds were deep, others more shallow, which they labeled hesitation wounds.
What?
There There was even a large 6-inch gash on her scalp that may have been caused by a knife or possibly by impact. This large wound on the back of her head stood out. Could she have been struck in the head and incapacitated?
Yes.
Yes. He did document the 11 bruises we talked about that were in various stages of healing, indicating some were new, some were old. They, said the presence of older bruises suggested Ellen had been sustaining injuries prior to that day. And her parents would later wonder if these indicated earlier abuse or struggles. They found no toxins, drugs in her system. It only showed the presence of her prescribed medication for anxiety and sleep in normal ranges. Nothing that would have incapacitated her when she was found. So she wasn't drugged or unconscious from substances. They found no clear defensive wounds. Strangely, even with all the injuries, she didn't have the classic cuts on her hands or arms that people often get when trying to grab a knife or fend off an attacker. This could suggest two polar opposite scenarios. Either she did this to herself and there's no one to fight off, or she was taken by surprise, maybe hit on the head, blitz attack, something. I am curious how long they were both in the apartment before, could someone have already been in there?
Yeah.
When she got home?
Oh, well, you said that she got off early.
She did.
Today, so she had to have been home for a while.
Yeah, she left around 1:30. She stopped and got gas and came home. Maybe Sam came home early from work too. And then he went to the gym. That's the moment.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Where do you know the layout of their apartment? Where's the door in comparison to the kitchen?
I believe the door opens right to a living room and the kitchen where you can see it when you're coming in the front door.
So if she was turned to the kitchen making her salad, someone could have come in and hit her.
Sliding door even too, yeah.
Or they could have, maybe she didn't lock the door when Sam left. Maybe someone came in and surprised her and hit her and knocked her out.
They could have come in while she went to the bathroom and came back out and then surprised her. They didn't even have to be in there for a long time before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where was the slice on her scalp? Was it on the back of her head?
Yeah. So that seems like you wouldn't be able to do that to yourself.
Seems really hard to have.
I've got more infuriating things too. After completing the autopsy on January 7th, Dr. Osborne came to a blunt conclusion. He ruled Ellen's death a homicide. Given the multiple wounds, their locations, it seemed unfathomable to classify it otherwise. The manner of death on the initial death certificate was marked as homicide that day. This must have been a momentary ray of hope for the Greenberg family. It aligned with common sense that something violent and criminal had happened to their daughter. You have something?
We were looking at what the
typed in Ellen Greenberg apartment.
Let me see.
So you can see.
So if she was standing at the counter, the door would have been behind her. So she probably would have been looking at the sliding glass door.
Yeah.
So if she's standing at that counter, they could have come right there and surprised her. And fast. But she probably would have been looking at the sliding glass door.
Yeah, that makes sense. She could have had in AirPods or something and not heard too.
Yeah.
Wait, not AirPods, but headphones.
Yeah. I just found a layout sketch of her
door
apartment.
Probably would have been and where she was. Yeah. It seems like if she was surprised to not have those defensive wounds, that they would have come in through the door.
Oh, the sliding glass door over there.
Yeah. So it's across from the kitchen. Well, she's in that corner.
Oh, this one is rough.
That's infuriating that they ruled it as a homicide and
suicide.
No, but first a homicide. Yeah.
After the autopsy, they ruled it as a homicide.
Sorry, I was looking up pictures of the apartment.
Yeah.
It's okay. And then they still.
Yeah. So that confused the family almost immediately because the day after the autopsy, the Philadelphia police publicly stated that the case was not yet classified as a homicide. The manner of death was still considered undetermined. In fact, on January 28th, so 2 days later, a police spokesperson explicitly said The death of Ellen Greenberg has not been ruled a homicide. Investigators are considering the manner of death as suspicious at this time. This was unusual. Normally, the medical examiner's ruling would be the official word.
Well, yeah.
They don't base it off of the investigation. They have 5 things to choose from.
Yeah.
You have homicide, suicide, accident. You've got undetermined. And then you have whatever one for
Natural causes.
natural causes. Thank you. Yes. And that's it. Those are their 5 choices. And when they pick one, if they pick homicide, they have to keep the case open and investigate. Undetermined gives you a little more. Suicide, closed. So
the police didn't care? Or they just didn't agree?
I think they just didn't agree.
Hmm.
Or, we kind of talked about this with Ray Rivera, which was in the same place. If you have 1 million open cases and you can check one, which is horrible.
Mm-hmm.
But
How was the area that they lived in? Do you know?
no.
I wonder if it had like a higher crime rate or if it was considered more of a safe area. And so maybe that's why they were leaning more towards suicide. If it is considered a safer area.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
That one is a good question. I'm not sure. We'll make Kayla search that.
Got you.
Thank you. It is unusual. Normally, the medical examiner, whatever they rule, is the official word. So why are police contradicting it? Behind the scenes, in the days and weeks that followed, there were apparently intense meetings between police officials and the medical examiner's office. Ellen's case became a kind of tug-of-war between the forensic evidence and the circumstantial evidence. Police continued to point to the locked door. And I think that's why it's been tested by people online or is it possible? Is it possible to unlock it and get in? And is it possible to lock it on your way out?
Well, it bothers me that there is another way in, but because the snow wasn't showing disturbance after 3 hours in a snowstorm,
Yeah.
that is, I feel like it could be possible. They could have cleaned off the snow there and then left, and then it covered up with snow over the next 3 hours or however long, at least 2 hours.
Right. Growing up,
At least an hour and a half.
Yeah. We know how fast that comes.
It can, especially if they're shutting down schools because it's snowing so bad.
Yep. Blizzard.
That just
You take
bothers
a broom
me
out
that
with
they
you.
just discounted that because of that thought. They could have covered that.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Did they measure how high the snow was compared to other places in the area?
I highly doubt that.
I doubt that too.
They
I
should
have some updates.
Okay.
I found the name of her neighborhood,
Mm-hmm.
and it doesn't have specific data for 2011. But
Dang it.
right now, it's kind of hit or miss. Some reports say it's higher, some say it's lower than the average for Philadelphia. But in 2011, Philadelphia experienced the highest murder rate among the nation's 10 most populous cities, with 324 homicides recorded by December 30th of that year.
So they were overwhelmed, overworked,
Yeah.
and too many unsolved, I'm sure.
So it does say that specific area in 2011, the murder rate had also increased in the early months of 2011. But that would make sense since this was in January.
We went there in 2011.
Huh. Yeah.
You and me
We did, yeah.
did. Yeah.
I go to Philly.
Yeah.
I went to Philly in 2011 too.
We got yelled at by
I thought we went
multiple
into
people
that.
on the street.
No, it was
It
2011.
was like June.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of forgot about that. Not that you and me went or me and Kayla, but
I don't think
But
you
I
went
went.
with me though.
I didn't.
Huh. I think just Brooks and I went.
I came to stay with you in New Jersey for a week, and we did a day trip there.
Yeah.
We stayed with you too, but I think you were working and we went. On the train.
Oh, yeah. That's right. Stupid job. Just kidding. I loved my job. Oh, okay.
So it could be that there was a higher crime rate in that area.
It seems like there may have been.
So maybe it was more of this could be a suicide and we are stretched too thin.
Maybe.
Kind of think.
No, I'm annoyed by
Yeah.
discounting the outside.
Right. Or just
the other
saying,
entrance.
because that was locked.
Yeah.
Like, there's another entrance.
Huh.
Yeah. They also pointed to a lack of DNA, which we just
didn't
discussed.
test
They
for.
did not test enough. Yeah.
At least bag it. Like,
Right.
that bothers me too.
A murder weapon.
Yes. Just,
At least until
Just
after
test it.
the autopsy.
yes. Or just test it just to rule out that
Yes.
there are any. I mean,
Well,
I guess they could have worn gloves or
they
something,
could
but
have been, and they could have only found hers, and then maybe they would have.
they didn't test it.
They didn't test it, but maybe if they did and they only found hers, maybe that would have strengthened their case too to have it
Mhm.
be a suicide.
Yeah.
So I guess it could have gone either way.
That is true. Yeah.
But even like her psychiatrist saying, no, she's happy. She's in a good place. Like that.
Yeah.
It should matter.
Yeah.
It should count as something.
But here's the thing, it kind of counted against her because they looked at the fact that she was even seeing somebody. And it's like, that is so messed up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And her meds were at optimal range. So it means
Mhm.
she was taking her medication. She was
Exactly.
seeing her doctor.
Yeah. And she had been there recently. Like, she was almost going twice a week. She had been like, and she had an appointment coming up in a day or two. Yes. When police did learn of her anxiety diagnosis, which anxiety, it's not that, yeah. They took that and noted that drugs like Klonopin and Ambien carry warnings about potential suicidal ideation side effects. Detectives also reportedly found some indication, though that's never been clearly disclosed, that Ellen had struggled emotionally in recent weeks, possibly referencing her anxiety treatment, though, like we said, her psychiatrist maintained she saw no suicidal intent in Ellen. Less than 6 weeks later, on April 4th, 2011, Dr. Marlon Osborne issued an amended death certificate, abruptly changing the manner of death from homicide to suicide. Yep.
Oh, that's terrible.
This reversal stunned everyone close to the case. The Greenbergs recall being absolutely floored. Ellen's mother said, "I was in so much shock," describing her reaction when they learned of the suicide ruling. Their attorney, Joe Pedraza, later told the press, "It makes no sense." Indeed, to an outside observer, how could anyone look at 20 stab wounds, many on the back of the head and neck, and decide this was a suicide? According to reporting by the Washington Post, investigators claimed new evidence had surfaced in those weeks that made suicide seem more likely, specifically citing Ellen's history of anxiety, the medication she was taking, and, quote, lack of any evidence of another person's involvement. They said that they didn't find any other DNA on her clothing, so maybe they had checked that. But again, the locked door scenario, which we just have to keep throwing in there, and the absence of defensive wounds. Additionally, a neuropathology review had been done on a piece of Ellen's spinal cord to see if the stab wound had penetrated her brain or spinal cord, which would have caused instant paralysis. The result given at the time was that the wound did not reach her brain or spine, meaning it was theoretically possible she could have continued to stab herself. In other words, they suggested that Ellen might have made superficial test stabs and then deeper ones, a scenario one expert later described. They said, when someone is self-inflicting these wounds, oftentimes they'll stab themselves superficially at first and then go deeper and deeper. The medical examiner's office essentially reasoned that no one else could have done it, so Ellen must have, despite how implausible it appeared, and thus, case closed, suicide.
After 6
Awful.
weeks.
Mm-hmm. Yep, done. All right, and with that, her case now in April being ruled a suicide is where we're going to leave part 1. But don't worry, part 2 is available right now in your feed. We didn't want to make you wait on this one, but we wanted to make sure that we were able to go fully into every part of this case. So that is where we're leaving part 1. And just listen to the next one in your feed. Part 2 is right there.
Just keep going.
Yep.
It's awesome.
Yes, we hate making you wait because we hate waiting for our favorite ones.
No patience.
No patience. If you want to see the resources used to build this episode, you can check out our blog. You can find it at crimeclueless.com under the contributor section. You can find details on this case, some basic info, and all of those resources. If you like this episode, we'd love if you'd share it. We're on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, Prime, iHeart,
Everywhere.
really any streaming platform.
Find us anywhere.
Find us anywhere. And if you want to interact with us, you can send us an email, crimeclueless@gmail.com, or find us on social media. We like to post fun things. We like our 2 truths and a lie.
Yes, don't miss out on that.
Don't miss out on
That's the
seeing
best.
if you know true crime better than we do or other people that listen and play. You can find us at Crime Clueless on mostly Instagram and Facebook, and we're also on TikTok. Like I said, YouTube. Thank you so much for listening. We're grateful for you. And as always, remember, refuse to be clueless, careless, or caught off guard.
Not today, murderers.
Bye.
Bye.